Hello. I know it's late, but I got some important information to share with you all. Tonight's topic is going to be 3 reasons that couples are divorcing. 3 reasons couples who have been together for a long time are calling it quits. I think you all have seen in social media, in the news, like I have, there's a lot of celebrity couples, a lot of high profile couples who have called it quits. We hate to see couples break up, especially married couples who have been together 10 plus years. And that's why I'm doing this video tonight, because a lot of people were speculating, you know, somebody must have cheated. Somebody must have like stepped out. And these were a lot of these cases that was not at play. And so I want to break down what are those reasons that are really common in couples in this game who are vets in the marriage game for 10 plus years. What's common? And if you notice these issues in your relationship, what you need to do right now to make sure that you don't have to get in the divorce court line. Okay. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Natasha Oates. I'm a relationship expert, a therapist, and speaker, and as well as founder of the Up Company based in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I want to go ahead and say, if you are not following me, please make sure that you are. Make sure you are turning on notifications. This topic is important because we see what's going on in the news, but what we know for certain is that this doesn't just affect celebrities. This doesn't just affect people we see on TV and in movies. Our life is not for entertainment, and we need to learn instead of judge. And so we want to take the opportunity to do that tonight. So, um, obviously, we know that a lot of couples divorce when they've been together for a long time because of infidelity. Someone has stepped out, someone has been cheating. We know that that is pretty common, a common reason for people to divorce. And if you've never experienced infidelity, it's intensive work to overcome that and to really heal as a couple through that. A lot of why it's really difficult is because it really acts as a trauma. It's like for the person that it happened to, maybe they can't stop thinking about what, envisioning their beloved partner with the other person, thinking about the chemistry and the connection and the possible love that was shared. Just songs on the radio, places, even questioning maybe when he looks at her, is he thinking about the other person or vice versa. So, of course, we think of divorce. When we think of divorce, we think of cheating, but there are some other reasons. There are some other reasons. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you have some ideas about some reasons people divorce outside of infidelity, please write them in the chat below. So, one common reason that couples divorce, and it's not based on infidelity, I'm sure you've heard this phrase before. We just grew apart. We just grew apart. When you've been with someone for so long, all kinds of changes happen. Maybe you got married when you were younger, in your 20s. And who you were in your 20s is not who you are in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, okay? What you needed in your 20s to be happy in your relationship likely isn't the same exact way that it is now. So this is something that happens to a lot of couples, and I got notes because I got to keep up. So the needs can be different. Some examples of that. Let's say you were super independent. This is something I see a lot in my practice. You were a super independent person. You prided yourself on that. And so there were things that didn't matter as much, didn't weigh as heavy, maybe the finances or what have you. And now you want that soft life. People talking about that soft life. So maybe now, you don't want it to be all on your shoulders. You don't want to have to be strong all the time. You want to feel like your partner is just as responsible as you. They'll have your back just as much. Your needs have changed. You don't need to be in control of everything. You don't want it. You want that soft life. That is a different need that's newer and may come to as a surprise to your partner, and may cause some friction because maybe for them, things are just fine. They're the same they've always been. I'm happy, aren't you? So some other things that can change other than your needs is also your goals. In a span of 10, 20, and 30 years, what originally were your goals, your life goals, can drastically change. Maybe at the beginning you thought you wanted to have children, or you thought you wanted to have more children, a certain amount, and then you get up in there and you're like, oh, this thing is real. I think I'm done. And your partner might say, well, wait. You said we were going to have 3 kids. That was my dream. Sometimes the dreams between the two people misalign over time. And it becomes a huge factor, a huge issue. Another example of your life goals changing, maybe the type of career and lifestyle that was once a good idea for you now isn't. Imagine if you're an introvert and your partner decides to get in a position with a lot of visibility, like ministry, like politics, and it just hits you so hard. Like, this is not the life I signed up for. These are some common things that have nothing to do with infidelity, but can become deal breakers. So I wanted to jot down just some tips too, because I don't want to just, tell you the challenges and leave you hanging. That's not what we do here. So some just general tips you can do. Of course, go to therapy. Don't let your pride get in the way. I don't want anybody in our business. Get the support you need to have the marriage quality that you want instead of feeling stuck there, right? But aside from that, you have to make the choice to leave the judgment seat of how you're looking at the other person for these changes, all these changes that they're requesting, or how they want everything to stay the same, and you need something different. Trying not to personalize that, make that personal, making a personal attack to you. Judge it because it's way different than what you understand and what you want. And get to the space of being really curious, like, help me understand you, right? And to understand doesn't mean you have to agree, but help me understand why these changes are important to you. Help me understand why keeping everything the same matters so deeply to you. Other than curiosity, you got to also be willing to compromise. It's the foundation of marriage, because the truth is you're two different people. You've had different upbringings. You have similar values, but some are different. And so you have to get to the place of, let me be curious enough to understand you, and let me be mature enough not to get in my feelings, but to say, since we're in different places, since we see it differently, what are we both willing to do here? What are we both willing to do? Instead of saying who's wrong, who's changed it up, who's stagnant. Like, we just, we in our feelings. We personalize things. Instead of being judgmental about it, be curious and be willing to come up with some compromises. What are we willing to do until you figure out what's going to stick through the trial and error. It's not going to always be a perfect solution, but you have to be willing to continue to work at it. All right, number two. Number two. Okay, so before I go to number two, a tall tale sign that this might be your area of an issue in your relationship. I hear my couples who come in my office with this issue say, I don't even know him anymore. You know, he doesn't get me. If that sounds like a familiar thought, something you said out loud, I want you to make sure you follow those tips. And if doing it on your own is not enough, come see me. Number two, another common reason that couples who've been together for 10 plus years actually end up being divorced is what I call long-term loneliness. Long-term loneliness. You know, as adults, we have so much pulling at us at every given moment. We might have a demanding career that we worked our butts off to excel to, right? We have children that we love dearly and they always need, and they don't mind letting you know what they need or when they need just attention, right? We also may have these obligations and these missions in the community. And then let me just add, some of us have aging parents. So while you have children, you also may have aging parents that you're trying to navigate as they have health issues. Some of you are moving them in to make sure that they have everything they need, not being taken advantage of by someone or neglecting their own health unknowingly. Can we say we're busy? We're busy, right? It doesn't take a lot to get busy and to allow it to chip away at the marriage over time. It's like one span of time, okay, you know, we can work through it, but like a long span of feeling disconnected. I wrote down some things of what busyness will do if you allow it to. If you don't put boundaries in place, intentional time in place, the come to Jesus meetings and talks together in place, you can be feeling neglected. Your partner could be feeling invisible, or like a business transaction, like we just handle the bills together. We're dealing with the kids' activities and pickup schedules together. It's so easy. And it's one of those things, if you're not paying attention, you can look up and be like, what happened to us? Okay? So a tall tale sign, this might be your situation, other than what I just described. If you're asking yourself, what happened to us? This is not who we used to be. That's a tall tale sign. But one that stands out to me in the work that I do with couples, if I'm already having to do all this stuff by myself, what difference does it make if we're together or not? I want you to know, if you're thinking that, if you've been saying that, you're in the danger zone. One of the worst things we can do in the danger zone is to just sit on it, because we think they're not going to hear me anyway. They're not going to try to understand. They're going to push back. They're going to give an excuse. I'm exhausted. But when you get in that danger zone, sometimes it's the hardest thing to overcome when you get used to being married, but you feel single. And not in the wild and, but you feel single in the sense of, I'm numbing the part of myself down that used to care about the relationship because it's too painful. It's extremely difficult to circle back and work on the relationship if you let it go too far in that direction. You have a better chance of working on the relationship if there is, I had to say it, but if there is disagreements and back and forth, because at least you're still in it. So I got to sound the alarm on this, okay? Now, number 3, we talked about the first one was growing apart. We talked about that. Number 2, we talked about the long-term loneliness is another factor. And number three, this is one I'm seeing a lot as well with the couples that I'm working with, where it's not infidelity that's involved. People think, well, clearly these are two good Christian and nice, respectable people in the community. Surely it had to be something drastic like infidelity. As we're learning tonight, not always. The last one is respect. Respect and trust. If you feel like you have lost the respect you have for your partner. Now this can be from a number of circumstances where you lose respect and trust for your partner. But I'm going to give just some examples. Maybe your spouse did not have your back when you needed them most. What an empty feeling. The person that you have vowed to commit a lifetime with, at a point that you need them the most, they fumble. So some examples of this could be when you're sick. Honestly, for some people, when you're in a position of vulnerability, you're not at your best. Maybe you have a setback, something like mental health related, or sickness, or a death in the family, and your partner is emotionally not connected, not engaging, not encouraging, not supportive. It can make you question everything. Like, why should you get the benefit of the good if during the bad I can't rely on you? These are the kinds of thoughts and thinking that you might be in the danger zone and need to get support right away. Also choosing sides, like if there's some family feuds and friction, or even if you are leaning more and spending more time with the kids and neglecting your spouse and taking up for the kids and doing extra niceties for the kids and like that spouse, it can make you lose respect for your mate and trust for your mate. You're supposed to be loyal to one another. Also, another way you can lose respect in someone that you're married to is if there's a lot of lying going on. If there's some hiding, some covering up, important information, like, come on. If when this happens, it puts you in the circumstance where you're like, well, if you're lying about this and that, what else are you lying about? Should I even believe you? Is this whole marriage a fairy tale because you're so comfortable with withholding information, with lying? Should I trust someone who manipulates me to believe something that's not real? This is deep, and it does not have to have anything to do with infidelity. So I would say if you fall in the busyness category, the long-term loneliness, it's going to be difficult, but you need to be candid to the bone of the impact of this loneliness that you're experiencing, and not in a way where you are venting at your partner, because they really not gonna hear you then, like, more than likely, but in a way where you're being honest about the level of the pain to the bone. That if this doesn't change, I can't guarantee that I'm gonna be able to withstand it. They gotta know. They gotta know how much it hurts. That really can call for your spouse to look at themselves and think about how their actions are hurting the person they care about, so that they can not kind of, have some motivation to let the pride go. Because y'all know we want to defend, well, that's not what I was trying to do, and I'm doing the best that I can. And that's not helpful, right? So if you fall under the umbrella of losing respect for your partner, of the trust being a factor, I'm just going to go ahead and say you need to consider therapy, because as much as people want to try to move on when trust is a factor, not bring up old stuff, not bring up the past, it lurks its head around for the next situation. And all of it will come up at one time. Trust is rebuilt over time with consistency, and you got to get to the root of why the mistruths, the untruths, the hiding information, why is that happening? Is this a personality trait that they are unwilling to really work on and show you vast improvement? Meaning, are they now being candid? Even if it hurts your feelings, they're just letting you know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Are they going out of their way to really, other than just words and flowers, like I'm sorry, are their behaviors shifting? So these are some factors that I want you to keep in mind. Also, if you're working on your marriage, as you should, I want you to know about the Spicy Marriage Challenge. This is going down next month. I want you to make sure you have your seat. It is free, but you got to register. All you got to do is go to www.spicymarriagechallenge.com. You want to also make sure that you're following our page so you can get all this free content and goods that I only give to clients. So make sure you're following us, and like us, love us, give us some hearts if you feel like this resonated. And I will see you all on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings. Good night.